with a new film that the media will hype. Most Americans, like all the rest of his movies, will never see it. Honestly, this is a Reuters story, and they are promoting this clown's latest movie. And he says that, like many people, he thought electric cars were a good idea, quote, but I didn't really think about where the electricity to charge them was coming from. I read something like this. I said, can this guy really be this dumb? And then I have to conclude, yes. I think leftists are this, maybe dumb is not the right word, ignorant. How many of you right now, if you spend your time on Twitter, how many of you are in arguments with people you are convinced are brain dead about anything to do with reopening the states or the coronavirus, or no matter what kind of logic that you throw, all you get back is hatred and vitriol. And you finally ask yourself, what am I doing? Wasting my time trying to talk to these. Same with climate change, doesn't matter. You can have statistic after statistic, fact after fact, to refute everything they believe, and it doesn't permeate. Michael Moore has been running around for decades promoting policies that would wreck the economy. Climate change is exactly, and the energy people are out there, they're loving this. They're saying this is a great dry run. It's a great dry run for guaranteed universal income. It's a great dry run for shutting down the economy to save the planet, for reducing CO2 emissions. What's happening, the oil industry is a great forerunner to wiping it out for good. He said he had no idea when he plugged in his electric car, where did the electricity come from? In other words, he had no idea that it was coming from the power plant. He had no idea it was coming from coal. He literally says there, I assumed solar panels would last forever. I didn't know what went into making them, meaning what a drain they are on the environment to make. Now, if we believe this, the guy's just flat out clueless. And if we believe it, which would make sense to do, we'll find out just exactly how block-headed the people on the left are that we're dealing with, and that we're going about dealing with them in the entirely wrong way. We can't deal with them logically because they're not using any semblance of mental acuity to arrive at whatever they believe. They are strictly the recipients of propaganda. And that's it. They can't tell you why they think what they think. When you challenge them, that's when the insults start aimed at you. You're a racist, you're a bigot, you don't know what you're talking about. They can't defend what they believe unless they have had some propaganda they think that they using logic on them is a waste of time. If you're debating them on Twitter, forget it. It's a total waste of time. You're not even on the same wavelength with these people because they're not using thought. They're not using any brain activity whatsoever other than memorization of propaganda. Electric cars are powered by oil, natural gas. The big one is coal, because most power plants still rely on coal and natural gas to provide you electricity. And they hate nuclear power because of one movie, The China Symbol. They hate it. You cannot get through to them and tell them, based on what you believe, nuclear is the absolute only source that you should be relying on. It's completely safe. It doesn't pollute. It regenerates. It's renewable. But no, because there might be a meltdown. Jane Fonda movie. You tell them how toxic the batteries are in their electric cars and how they have to dispose of them when they wear out, they won't believe you. And it's a problem. problem. It's a problem when, we conservatives, the ones that are actively involved in stuff like this, I don't know about you, I've arrived at my celebrated points of view by way of genuine intellectual application. I've debated myself. I've debated others. I've questioned. I've researched what other people say. I have sought, in other words, to honestly, legitimately, mentally confirm what I believe. There's not one part of that equation that applies to most people on the left that you would run into, average ordinary Toms, Dicks, and Harrys out there on the left. They don't get anywhere near any kind of mental process that involves thinking, critical thinking, analysis. They don't get to what they believe in because they can't. Believing that this current circumstance is a godsend is not natural. Believing that an economy in tatters and 22 million people out of work is a good thing is not normal. It's sick. It's dangerous. And you can't get through to them using economic successes and failures, stories, statistics. It really, you know what? It boils down to something even more basic. The vast majority of these people literally think what they think because of hatred. It is hatred that the people that propagandize them use as the gateway or the pathway into these people's so-called hearts and minds. But if you're debating these people on Twitter, I'd save myself the aggravation. What else we have here? Other states thinking about reopening and protests are taking place. Oh, you got to hear something. The Attorney General Bill Barr was on the Hugh Hewitt show today, radio show this morning, and this has just got these people on the left fit to be tied. They think this guy needs to resign. This is not what Attorney Generals do. This guy's dangerous. I want you to listen to what he said, talking about the stay-at-home orders issued by the states.
These are unprecedented burdens on civil liberties right now. And the idea that you have to stay in your house is disturbingly close to house arrest. We're looking carefully at a number of these rules that are being put into place, and if we think one goes too far, we initially try to juggle on the governors into rolling them back or adjusting them, and if they're not, and people bring lawsuits, we file statement of interest and side with the plaintiffs.
Were you able to understand that? All right. I wasn't. It's a good thing I have the transcript. What he said here was, these are unprecedented burdens on civil liberties right now. The idea you have to stay in your house, that is disturbingly close to house arrest. We are looking carefully at a number of these rules that are being put into place. And if we think one of them goes too far, we initially try to jawbone the governors into rolling them back or adjusting them. And if they're not, if people bring lawsuits, we file a statement of interest and side with the plaintiffs. He was saying the same thing about shutting down business. Where do these people get the authority to do this? And the people issuing the authority are not elected. Unprecedented burdens on civil liberties right now. The idea you have to stay in your house. And I have to tell you, folks, I get myself in trouble. Let's just put it this way. I have seen local websites. I've studied them from all over. You would not believe the arrogance and the kind. We are watching you. We are observing that you are not observing social distancing when you're out walking, and we are taking notes, and we are taking names, things of that sort. People being publicly shamed on city, town websites. There was one the other day. Make sure that you take your keys out of your car and don't leave it unlocked with the keys in it in your driver. So what am I, 10 years old?